Hey, this is Robert Oakley with your Home Source team at Home Source Realty Group. So it's Monday, July 8th. I forget what day I'm on. The summer's just going way too fast for me. I don't know about you, but it's just going way too fast for me. So I wanted to do the market update where we don't have the numbers officially out from our board yet, but I have properties in Commerce City and Henderson and surrounding area. So I wanted to kind of do a recap of what's happening because we're seeing change. We're not seeing the same kind of frenzy we've had the last few years. A lot of people are calling this a Goldilocks market. And so what I'm looking at is kind of brief recap of what happened. The month of May, kind of what's continuing to happen, maybe even more dramatically or extremely in June, and where we're at compared to year-to-date, year-over-year numbers. So if you look briefly at Henderson, I've got a great property out there. Actually moved a little faster in Henderson than what I'm seeing in the surrounding areas that are technically Commerce City, although they're really unincorporated Commerce City. They're not the traditional Commerce City. When you think of it, it's the Reunion area that I'm really looking at. So May, the median home sales price was up quite a bit in that area. There's a lot of new construction going out in that area where Henderson stops, where unincorporated Adams County takes over, where Commerce City takes over. That varies. But you can look at the numbers for Henderson. You can see that May over 2019 over 2018 was obviously up quite a bit, both the average and the median. Median is half the houses sold above, half the houses sold below. Year-to-date numbers, though, are actually a little behind what the month of May was as far as the total sell. Percent of sold versus list price, I think, is key. It doesn't look like a big difference. It's all about 1% less, but what we were seeing previously, even the first part of this year, where homes really taken off as soon as you put them on the market. People were still expecting that it was the same market and things would sell, so they would jump on it. That, and there was the scare that the interest rates were going to go back up throughout the rest of the year. So the first of the year they were in that 4.5 range, and all the experts were saying 5% or above by the end of the year. Well, what's happened? Just the opposite. And so I think, and maybe people said, wait a minute, I don't have to rush. That, maybe they rushed ahead of the schedule and kind of caused a peak or spike in the market in February, early March, and then it's kind of slowed back down since then. And definitely homes are sitting on the market longer. Buyers are a little pickier. It's not a seller's or buyer's market. It still leans to the seller's favor. When we get 6 months worth of inventory, it's kind of a balanced market. We're not anywhere close to that yet. So you can see the numbers for Henderson. They look pretty strong, but you have to kind of look beyond the numbers and know the market in that area because, like I said, there's a lot of new construction, a lot of variables that play into Henderson looking really strong. If you look at Commerce City, like I said, the Commerce City goes all the way from 270 and Highway 2, Quebec area, all the way out past 104th to 120th in the Reunion area. And what I really wanted to focus on is what's happening around the Reunion because I have another property in that area, and we're seeing properties, again, moving a little slower out in that direction. So I think it's good to see what's happening. It's definitely showing that sellers have to be more realistic about the prices. You can't just throw a home on the market now and if it's overpriced, expect to still get activity and showings. So my sharpest sellers may be testing the market a little bit to see what happens. Everybody wants as much as they can get. Of course, buyers want to pay as little as they can pay. And so my savvy sellers right now are testing it, giving it 2 to 3 weeks. And if there's no offers, no activity, we know we really overpriced it, even though the comps may say otherwise. It's the buyers who are setting the price. And so we have to adjust down if that's the case. And so the numbers for Commerce City, total days on market, almost double, or actually more than double what they were a year to date last year. The month of May was more like last year, the days on market, but the year to date we're up to 35 days on the market. So you're seeing some changes. The number of listings is certainly up. The number of solds is up as well. So what's happening is there's a lot more supply. There's still a lot of buyers out there. Buyers are still buying. It's just that they have more to choose from, and they know that. So they're not quite as scared and quite as likely to pull the trigger as soon as a house hits the market like they have been the last few years. So we move over to Thornton, kind of the same thing, although if you look at that change in median home sold price is actually down 2.1%. And from some of the homes I'm watching in Thornton that I've been looking at for myself, I've noticed that there's some nicer homes that are sitting where the last few years they wouldn't have been. And again, it's a matter of being strategic about how you price the home. Certainly there's the number of homes sold is still strong. But if you look at the number of sold listings year to date over last year, we're actually a little behind in Thornton, which is kind of surprising. 1,025 sold year to date through May. Now, again, June's numbers aren't in, but I would expect it's kind of the same trend based on what I was seeing and feeling. We'll see what the numbers look like here shortly. So the total days on market's up. The number of homes actually sold is down, and the number of listings is up. So, you know, it just again emphasizes, as a seller, be realistic when you price a home. We just can't go in, throw any number out there and expect to get activity or even offers, because some buyers are saying, I'm not even going to put an offer in because they're just not realistic. So some important numbers to look at year over year for the month of May and year to date for the Thornton area. Westminster actually looks stronger than Thornton does. The median home sales price is up in Westminster, which is nice to see. The number of new listings is up. The number of sold is up. The days on market, though, is also up in Westminster, pretty much everywhere right now. And I've got Boulder on a different video, Boulder, Longmont area, Loveland area, I'll be doing shortly. So, you know, you're pretty much seeing the same trend in every market, that the number of days is taking longer. So as a seller, don't panic if you don't sell your house the first day it hits the market, like you've kind of seen the last couple of years. Last year, I think people just imagined it was still that way. It wasn't quite that, you know, that bad. But you got to be realistic. You got to price it right. And, you know, there's 4 pricing strategies. You can go in with this pie in the sky, needle in a haystack price, hope that you get the one buyer in the haystack, so to speak, and that he'll pay your price. The second one is try to come right in where the comps have been coming in at. And historically, you know, that was in a maybe more balanced market. People were expecting to be on the market maybe 40 to 60 days. They were okay with that. Where I'm finding the most success now is looking at those comps and being realistic that the buyers are looking at those same comps, excuse me, and so are the appraisers. And so rather than coming in maybe right where the last home sold, come in just below that. And buyers see that, they say, hey, this is a good deal. These people are obviously motivated. They're not just trying to throw a price out there to see what happens, and you're going to get stronger activity. So we're having to make adjustments, though. We're not, you know, don't leave it out there too long, 2 or 3 weeks. And if it's not really getting activity, maybe even no offers but activity, then you got to make some adjustments and just keep reevaluating that market every 2 to 3 weeks. You know, the interest rates keep coming down, but you're seeing in every price range the problem here that the market is telling us it's balancing. It's not dying, it's not dead, it's just balancing, being a little bit more like a historical market. So I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions. We've got a couple properties in the area to be happy to show you. Of course, show you any home.